Good afternoon, everyone. In this class, we are gonna start learning about some activities that we can apply in the classroom using the learning theories that are the behaviorism, the cognitivism, and the constructivism. We're gonna start with the behaviorism. In the class, we can apply some drills using this technique. For example, like math. As you know, when we start learning mathematics, we have to repeat it again so many times. For example, uh, some specific numbers or some series. For example, we are gonna start applying some technique. Let's start with the serial of the number 3. It is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. And we have to start it again. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. This is one of the activities that we can use in the behaviorism. Another one is imitation. In imitation, often we use this with materials and roles to help participants feel as well as they understand the dynamics of a complex situation. As you see on the picture, stimulation, it remember the imitation. For example, the behaviorism can apply in some activities that a person is performing and the other one is repeated in again. Stimulation, that's all in stimulation. The next one is using games. It is very important for us to apply behaviorism with technology, and the computer games are one of the best methods or the best techniques that we can use to apply behaviorism in the class. As you know, a basic video game that we have played, we can start with some stages. Maybe the objective of the game can be to find a treasure, and it is the same way or the same instruction that we can follow to get that treasure. But in this case, we are gonna repeat it again. This game. The next theory is the cognitivism. It means something like we can apply personality, and the psychology of learning is that we can emphasize in the human condition the intelligence that each human being has. It is a special development of some hypotheses that we have. It is a develop intellectually, but cognitivism is also known because we are gonna gain some knowledge. It involves examination, learning, memory, and specific problem solving skills, and of course, as I said, intelligence. Okay, the next activity is Simon Says. In this activity, we are gonna follow some duration. As you know, it is a simple game that gets children completing sequences and following direction. For example, we can say Simon says raise your hands, and all of the person who are performing the action are gonna raise their hands. For example, another technique it could be please touch something red, and they are gonna touch a thing that has the color red. And as you know, it gives a student special attention in listening actively. They must pay attention to the order to be the winner. This is one of the techniques. The second one is group it. We can recognize patterns. In this case, an excellent activity to children to exercise their visual skills is recognizing patterns. We can provide children with a series of toys and come up with fun categories into which they can group the toys. For example, a series of stuffed, I don't know, maybe it could be animals. It could be grouped into size, colors, number of legs, or maybe the kind of food that they eat. So we are gonna group those kinds of specific things that we are gonna use. Maybe it could be a little bit more complex categories according to the needs learning, the learner needs. Okay. The next one is sequencing. It gives us a logical sequences. In this case, we are going to apply cognitivism because pupils or children are going to make series of toys, maybe, and have them to arrange in various ways. For example, from the smaller to the larger, the darkest to the lightest, or it could be in an alphabetical order. Once children have completed that, they can provide a new object and ask where does it go, how is it, but this gets pupils working on figuring out how to incorporate new pieces of information into a pre-existing order. The next one is the theory that we are learning is the constructivism. The constructivism it consists in a theory that is learner centered and it needs active instruction. A product of the constructivism is that in the classroom the teacher provides the student with experiences that allow them to predict or to manipulate objects, pose questions, maybe could be research, investigate, imagine, and invent. The teacher role is to facilitate this project. We can learn using the constructivism natural science. For example, in this case, the soil is warm. Students can take on a walk outside the school building and ask them to know where the soil is worn, where it seems to have collected. Before going to on the walk, um, we can want to children to explain what they will look for or what the signs that soil has worn. Suggest some of the suggested answers may include, for example, erosion, puddles, hollowed out areas, areas that deep or are lower than the surrounding area, deposition, mounds of dirt, collection of soils of other materials in a certain spot. Upon returning to the classroom, we can make a list of the sites where soil was borne away or collected. It could be a little bit kind of difficult, but it is not so at all dependent the level of the students. The next one is math. We can teach math using this technique. For example, it involves a solution of a real world problem. In this case, the activities can be used to find a solution of a real world problem. Maybe they can get information, incorporate the use of internet, of course, but they can conduct interviews with people in the social community, analyze information, and engage in the physical construction of a blueprint or model using relevant occupation tools. The principles of applied learning and constructivism pedagogy are very used. For what? To promote the student understanding and application of math concepts through. It could be in a social, contextual, and experiential methods of learning. Another one is journal writing. The reflective journal is a very important tool for students. For example, students are gonna reflect about what they were doing. It could be an effective tool for a self-assessment. In that, it engages students in thinking about certain ideas or experiences and advising new ways of responding to them. This activity combines journal writing because with the use of technology as a means of extending constructivism learning in the classroom. It engages students in working, maybe it could be on an internet project and blogs, but that is very meaningful and challenging. Places them in control in their learning, enables they to go collaboratively with the diverse of the community of learners and connects them with expert workers. Okay, here you have a reference list where you can find more information about the activities that we can apply using these theories. Thanks a lot. That's all. Thank you.